Alaha here. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome, and if you're an existing subscriber, how you doing? Welcome back. So today, if you haven't guessed it already, I'm gonna be doing yet another Halloween tutorial. I am on a roll this month. I'm planning on doing 2 a week at least, so this here was just kind of improvised. I didn't really know where I was going with this. I actually posted a poll on my Instagram today. I said, do you guys want to see more glam, like pretty Halloween looks, or gory all day? And so far, I think it's like 60% said that they wanted to see something pretty. This is as pretty as it's gonna get, I think. Might get prettier, but this here is about as pretty as I'll go for Halloween, because I feel like you could be pretty 365 out of the year, and you only get to be like weird and gory and just this one day out of the year. So why not, right? This one was a little bit longer. It took a little bit longer than the other ones I've done so far on my channel, but as you can see, there's a lot of like detail and little rhinestones and like foil and stuff here, so that's probably why. Didn't know what to do with my hair, so I threw on a wig. What should we call her? I don't know. You guys decide in the comments below. What should the name of this be? I'll change the title if I find something good, if you guys have a good suggestion. So what should the name for this be? Let me know down below. So anyway, I keep rambling on. If you want to learn how to get this look here, or just the eyes, like you can mute all of this out, and if you just want to get this look here, it's like a frosty cranberry smoky eye, then please stay tuned and I would love to show you how to do it. But before we get started, please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and please turn on the bell notifications if you haven't, so that way you guys are notified every time I upload a video. It'll send you an email letting you know that I uploaded a new video. So without further ado, let's jump right into this.
Hey! So to get started, I'm using my Too Faced Cosmetics Hangover RX face primer and just applying this mostly to the top of my face. Then I'm going in with my Kat Von D Lock-It foundation, and I'm applying this again just to the upper portion of my face because my lower portion is going to be all jacked up, so we don't really need any foundation there. For a little extra coverage, I'm going in with a Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. Not that I needed any more coverage after that foundation, but you know, this is just like a necessary step. This is in the shade Light Neutral, and I'm also using this as an eyeshadow base. I'm using the Makeup Bullet Finger Sponge. I've been obsessed with this thing lately. It's so convenient, so easy, and I don't have to wet it. Perfect. And I'm just going to blend out that concealer all over my face. Then going in with my Kat Von D Lock-It Translucent Setting Powder, I'm going to go ahead and bake a little and set the concealed areas in place so they don't move around or budge throughout the day or night. And using a little bit of the translucent powder, just dust it on the rest of the face with a fluffy brush. This is by Royal Langnickel. I really did try not to use this eyeshadow palette again for like the millionth time, but I couldn't help it. I'm going to go in with the shade Eden. This is the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk eyeshadow palette, and I'm just going to apply this lightly to my crease using just any fluffy crease brush. Then going into the shade Amber, I'm going to deepen that outer corner, and I'm going to drag whatever's left on my brush into my crease. Again, I'm focusing this mainly on the outer corners. Next, the color I'm going to go in with is the shade Saffron, and I want it to be a little more of a red toned eyeshadow look, so I'm adding saffron to redden this up a bit, if that makes sense, using the same technique that we used with the shade Amber. Apply it to the outer crease, focusing on that area, and drag whatever's left on the brush onto the inner crease area. Then going into the shade Oud and my Vasanti Eye Contour brush. This is a smaller crease brush. I'm going to apply this just to the outer corners and very, very, very lightly drag it in a bit. Next, going in with this beautiful shade Turkish Delight, I wet my flat shader brush with some Fix Plus or any mixing medium will do. I wet the brush so it could be more intense, and I just applied this onto the lid, giving myself kind of like a cut crease, but not too dramatic. It's dramatic, but just not too dramatic of a cut crease. going in with the shade Nefertiti, I'm applying this to the inner corners for a nice little highlight. And going back in with Amber, applying this to my lower lash line and deepening that sucker up with a little bit of saffron. Next, going in with my Tarte Cosmetics Sex Kitten eyeliner, I'm just going to wing out this liner. This step is optional. Actually, this entire tutorial is optional, but you guys get what I mean. The eyeshadow will look fine without a wing liner, but I'm just addicted, so I had to do a wing liner. And you guys probably thought I was going to wear Huda Beauty lashes, but you were wrong. I'm wearing Caramel by Lily Lashes. You can also use my coupon code ALAHA to save some money. Next, I'm going with my Aurora Glow Kit by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I'm taking those first two colors and highlighting the high points of my cheeks, as well as my forehead and the bridge of my nose. I'm going to use my fingers to blend this out because I don't want any harsh edges. Next, going in with my MAC Cosmetics Modern Mandarin Blush. I'm applying this to the apples of my cheeks and kind of dragging them upwards. So now for the fun part. I'm using a silicone beauty sponge because I don't like to throw away a bunch of sponges all the time. And I'm going in with my Ben Nye Liquid Latex, and I'm just applying this from my nose dragged out to the top of my ear, and then over the bridge of my nose onto the other side, if that makes sense. You kind of want to make it look like you're wearing some sort of face mask. And then I'm going in with this cotton coil. I find this to be a lot easier than using regular cotton balls, but cotton balls are also an option. And just apply this right where you applied that liquid latex. This gives it a more grittier skin-like texture as opposed to using tissue. So that's why I use this. I want it to look like my face is like literally dripping off. So that's why I used cotton instead of using tissue. Tissue's a lot smoother. I'm just gonna apply this very carefully all over that liquid latex. Doesn't have to be perfect though, and you want it to be stringy. You're gonna do this about 2 or 3 times. You want it to look just like this. Just apply more latex over the cotton and then go back in with more cotton. Do this about 3 or 4 times until you get that skin-like texture. And you'll see that I leave some of the cotton to kind of droop down, and I cover that with latex as well to give it more of a melted skin / ripped and torn skin finish, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense because I feel like I'm just talking a lot. Next, I'm going to go in with a small mini blow dryer. This thing is so powerful. It's by Bellamy Hair. I'm just going to use this to dry my face. This next step, I highly regret doing it. I think the wax was either messed up or I got a bad batch or something. But this is the Nose and Scar Wax by Graftobian. It's very, very sticky, which is why you see me struggling with it. I only did this to kind of smooth out the edges of the skin. But what I didn't like is that, one, it takes forever to roll it up into a little worm like I did here and smooth it out. But the foundation that I applied over it did not stick to this as well as it stuck to the latex, and I didn't like the way it looked. Normally this is supposed to look very, very smooth, but unfortunately because of this wax, it kind of looked a little rocky, which I didn't really like. So you can totally skip this step. As long as the latex is applied very thin around the edges, you should be totally fine without having to do this. Next, going back in with that Kat Von D foundation, I'm going to use a Veramona Cake and Bake sponge. I just like the flat edge of this sponge, and I'm just going to apply this over that liquid latex and that modeling wax, which I highly regret doing. And you want to drag it down all the way down to the latex. Then I'm going to peel the bottom edges of the latex off. You want it again to look like the skin is ripping, so you just want to focus on taking off that bottom portion. You don't want to go too far up or this will come off your face completely, so be very careful with that. I'm just going to rip off the edges a little bit and kind of pull them and stretch it out so it looks more natural. Next, using a very small scissor, please be very careful for this. I am not encouraging you to go around cutting your skin. Just cut the latex. Get dull scissors if you can. Remember, I'm experienced, and if you're not, then you can hurt yourself. So please, please, please be very, very careful. You just want to cut around the edges of the latex, that bottom about 1/2 inch or so. You just want to cut that off to make it look more natural, because right now it was looking a little too rough. So after I cut that off, I'm just going to use my hands to kind of pull apart the latex and stretch it out a bit to make it look more flappy. I know that sounds gross. So the skin flaps can look a lot more natural. Ew, what am I doing? What the hell's wrong with me? So as you see here, I'm just stretching out the latex a little bit to make it look more natural. So I had to reapply some latex at the top edges because it was coming off. I hate that modeling wax so much, so I'm re-drying it. Next, I'm going in with my Miron face paint palette. This is the Brilliant palette, I think it's called, or Brilliant, something like that. Or if you don't have this, it's just a silver face paint that you can use. I was actually really shocked at how beautiful this face paint is. I've had it for a year now and I have never used it. You're just gonna apply this all under those skin flaps, and you want to drag it all the way down to your neck. Remember, if you want this to look real, let the face paint end wherever the collar of your shirt starts. And if you ain't wearing a shirt, well, then maybe you should just paint your whole damn body to make it look real. You know what I'm saying? So in order to apply the foil, the first thing I did was apply a setting spray, but then I realized this face paint is water activated, so that might not be a good idea to keep doing over and over. So although it worked, I was afraid it was going to destroy the paint. So I started applying liquid latex in small dots all around, and applying the foil directly to this. At first, I was just going to use the rose gold foil, but you know, it just looked too boring for me. So I went ahead and added some yellow gold foil, and then I also added some silver foil. I was afraid the silver wasn't gonna show up, but it looked so beautiful in three-dimensional. It just looked really nice and I loved it. So as if all this foil wasn't enough, I went ahead and applied some rhinestones as well. I'm actually using liquid latex to apply the rhinestones. You can also use eyelash glue since that's latex based usually as well. So once you're done, you should have something like this. You can apply more or less, whatever you like, you know, there's no big deal. I just was kind of winging this look and didn't really know where I was going, so I just improvised. You can too. So this next step is to kind of make the skin look a little bruised. I wish I would have skipped it because that modeling wax ruined everything for me. So I just applied this to the edges to make the skin look beat up and bruised as my skin is melting off. And then I took some more of that silver face paint and applied it to the bottom of the skin flaps to make it look like the silver was getting onto my skin. And that's it.
So guys, this is the finished look. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in and staying until the very end. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It'll really help me out. So you can like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And please follow me on, ooh, there's foil flying everywhere. Please don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. All of that is at Makeupbyalaha. Really, really easy to find me. And if you haven't already, you guys know what I'm gonna say next. Please turn on the bell notifications. There's foil on my fingers. So you're notified every time I upload a new video. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. I love you guys so much. Thank you for the love that you guys show me on a daily basis. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!